Good morning, everyone. Well, it's morning for me. It probably won't be for you by the time I edit this and get it out to the world. So, what do you guys think about the window thing? If you are returning to watch this commenting on comments, I started doing a new thing, and that's hiding kind of like a code word to use if you want me to consider your comment for me to talk about. Because it was just getting really cluttered. And still, there's so many people I can't talk to because there's just too many. But these are the people, it's either going to be 5 or 145. I don't know. And I've been futzing around with the lighting. I'm sorry. It's going to be either. Okay, so Craig Thomas is the first one. He was the first one that used the word window. No. Yes. All right, Craig Thomas. Let us begin this commenting on comments. Craig Thomas, I recently told my ex-girlfriend, I told my recently ex-girlfriend when she was raped that she asked for it, invited some guy into her house to play Magic the Gathering late at night, took a medication that caused her to pass out. He raped her. Her stance is that she should expect to be able to have people in her house and not get raped. Well, that's a silly expectation, isn't it? So I think what she was saying, she deserves to not be harmed by another person. Just like shaming language. Some people think that they shouldn't have to hear words that other people produce so they don't feel shame. Some people think that you shouldn't be allowed to say words because it's hateful. It's assuming, it's just not taking responsibility. And I've talked about this before kind of loosely, my opinion on rape. And I love these comments because I can let you pick my brain and I can be more articulate, hopefully, into what I think about a subject and maybe what you think about a subject. There's a difference between a woman, a girl, a lady, whatever, going to a party, let's say, drinking, over drinking, being around people she doesn't know, and getting raped, or having sex and then waking up in the morning and feeling bad about it and then thinking, well, I didn't really like that, so it's not my fault. It's their fault. They raped me. Compared to the woman who is, this is my big one, wearing a cardigan, studying philosophy at the local library, who walks to her car afterwards and is raped by some rando. So there's a difference there, and people don't really like to look at that. And then to clarify the deserving thing, because I think it deserves clarification. Does anyone deserve to be harmed in their cardigan walking to their car from the library? Deserve? No. But what I'm more trying to convey to everyone is what you do with that. I think most of us have met people that tell us about a calamity or something really bad that happened, and they say it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And you're like, what? How can that be? Because they took it and turned it into something. So there was a lot of people in the comments that said something to the effect of children don't deserve to be molested or abused. I agree, because there's innocence there. But that molested child, someone I love more than anyone on the planet, was molested when he was a kid. But because when he grew up, he finally had the power to not be a child and do something with that. And I bet if we asked him, you happy that happened? He'd say, no, I'm not happy it happened, but I really like who I am because of it. So you can stay in that mentality, or you can rise above it and use it and put it into your toolbox. Man, we all have these individual toolboxes. I don't have yours. Toolboxes would be experiences and the things we do with them. What blades are we able to sharpen because of our personal experiences or because of what we've learned? Whew. Okay. Oh, and thank you to whoever said Control F. It's going to make my life and your life easier. Moving on. All right, next up we have the Rogers channel. I think he's changed his name. Is that true? The Rogers channel? Look at life like a mirror. We get in life a reflection of what's going on deep inside ourselves. There's a window of opportunity for people who believe this. When I was in India, I was there for, I don't know, months and months, and there was a woman who was light. She wore all white, and her aura was clean. No, it wasn't clean. Pure, trustworthy. And she said, which is a saying we all know, but I was like 25 at the time, so I'd never heard it. But what is it, like when you point at the moon, there's three fingers. When you point at the moon, there's three fingers pointing back at you. If we take advantage of that. Also, when I was in India, like I learned more from that woman. She's also the one who said, "Save your seeds, child, save your seeds." Like Apocalypse. I love that shit. And then there was another guy who held on this little island of Vipassana, and he was a guru, man, and his name was Ghosh. Okay, so I should have known then. Me and a couple friends walked to the island to talk about doing Vipassana. And I might be misremembering the term, but Vipassana is a meditation. You can stay for a week, a month, a year, but you do everything slow. I mean, like intentionally so slow. Ugh. Anyway, we went to talk to him, and it was the beach in India and Goa, so we just had on swimsuits, and he just stared at my boobs the whole time. But he's like this guru. So maybe we should all be weary of who we trust just because someone has a title. That was more of a words of advice from myself. Okay. Moving right along, Control F. Max says my best friend is often a big asshole. He calls me on my shit even if I could take his advice and throw it out the window. Simple thought, be your online follower's best friend. Do you all have a friend that is an asshole? Not in a mean way, but that gives it to you straight? I think we all need that kind of person. And Max, I'm happy that your best friend's an asshole. Tell him to come hang out with us. Joseph Williamson says, if I get eaten by an animal, I want it killed ASAP because no one wants to get shit out the next day. I'd never thought of that. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Okay, and then I like this. I just want to bring this up really quick. So far, you've survived 100% of your worst days. Learn from the pain instead of letting it ruin you. Yeah, and I really like that quote. So far, you've survived 100% of your worst days. You know what I would like everyone to do? Thrive. That would be better. Maybe I'm wishful thinking. Thanks, Joseph. I'm going to spend some time with Art of Free Speech because it's really good. He says, I tend to tell people who say I'm a nice guy, I'm not a nice guy, I'm a good guy. There's a distinction. I like that. How many of you are good? Maybe not nice, but good. And how would you even know if you're only comparing yourself to you? Oh, God. These morning shows sometimes don't go that great, do they? Okay, I find it difficult to say someone deserves to be abused. Ooh, that's different from saying you no longer feel sympathy for them. I broke up with my friend a couple years ago, my female friend. I call it a breakup because we just decided that we were not compatible anymore. And she always railed on me for my lack of compassion. I needed to be nicer to myself and to the world. And I was talking about women who were abused. And she ran a workshop for abused women. And she said, Jennifer, will you please come to the workshop so you can meet these people? And I said, I don't want to meet them because it doesn't matter how much sympathy or understanding I have for them. I still think that they have historically put themselves in harm's way. What good is my sympathy going to do? You know, it's like there was a show I watched a million years ago about this woman who she was like very masochistic, and she would go to animal shelters and bawl. Like she felt so bad about the animals, she would just fucking cry. And I thought, what a stupid thing. I mean, obviously it was a disorder, but maybe are we all suffering from a disorder of overly sympathizing with people instead of letting them, you know, in AA, I'm not in AA. In AA, they say, enablers, you have to let people hit bottom so they can start to come up. And I wonder if being over sympathetic only hurts people. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay. He wanted me to bring this back to my fat and ugly video. Find a man who makes you feel fat and ugly. I think you know your worth, and when you find the person that also recognizes it, remember, because we've cultivated ourselves to be this amazing person that we can present to another person and be really seen and appreciated for it, then I want women to look at their man and realize that yes, they deserve them, but not to rest on laurels. Always be earning the respect, love, admiration, loyalty from your partner. I am itchy. Some of you have complained about my itchiness. I've been itchy ever since I was a little girl. Awesome comment. I really like it. Thank you. Oh, and Noah Triplet also asked for a breakdown to tie in the Fat and Ugly video. So 2 birds, 1 stone. 2 windows, 1 stone. All right, Novadog Lone Wolf. Kind of a newer person to the channel, but I really like his comments. I think that we may have some hang-ups with the limitation of the spoken language. To deserve something might be comparable to earning. Yeah, and I thought about that. Deserve, earn, fair. And again, I'd like to reiterate, we deserve what we get if we best utilize the experiences that we're given. Again, with the toolbox. If you give me a shitty knife, you stab me with a shitty knife, blunt edge, but I take that as, this is just metaphorical, and I take that as a part of my toolbox and go, okay, this piece of shit dagger messed me up, so I'm going to repair the wound so it scars and it can't be grossed out, I can't gross out other people with it. And I'm going to spend all my days using that blunt dagger knife and sharpen it so it is in my arsenal. And I think that's, I guess, what I'm trying to say with deserving. Stefan V asked a interesting question. He said, in the video you're talking about the experience with the RV and you were kicked out, you say you like this experience. Question, did you like it immediately? Kind of. I used to do this thing, in Colorado when the snow melts, there's a creek in Cheyenne Canyon and it's frigidly cold. So I would go every day to this certain spot where it was dunkable, and I'd call it my daily baptism. And I would go and I would dunk in the water and just splash out, because it made me aware that I was alive, because it was such an intense experience that was out of the norm of my regular experiences. How often are we plunged into freezing water? So I kind of liked that experience at the time because it was so different than my norm. And it woke me up to like, holy shit, there's a whole world of possibility. And some of those possibilities are really bad. So how do I not plunge into that anymore? Another time when I was in my 20s, my the ex, everyone has a the ex. Like I loved him so much. I gained like 20 pounds and I got acne, bad acne. I was also working for Estee Lauder at the time at the makeup counter. What a thing, like to be on display with cystic acne. And I made hardly any money, and my car died and I just bought a new car. It was a used car. And I was driving, I think for Christmas, to see my family. It was like a 3-hour drive. And I just bought the car like the day before, and the check engine light went on. And I was so happy that so many things were piling up, and I was still so happy. It was like, what are you going to do? What are you going to throw at me? What's my threshold? I'm handling it well so far. And that's how that's just to tie it in with how I look at life. Yeah, I did like it right away. I didn't like it like, oh, this is so wonderful, but it was a plunge. Thanks for the comment. Wolf DNA is just asking about me, and a lot of people have asked this question. I'm an ENTP, Enneagram 8, on the not the Myers-Briggs. Yeah, the Myers-Briggs. My highest is E. I think that's extrovert. Next up is O. I think that's openness. And then my lowest is N, and I think that's neuroticism. That's all I can tell you about me. Frank Wiseman said that he was the first to propose on my channel, and I shamed him. I thought I said yes. Frank, we should be planning our wedding right now. Tim Allen says that he finds that it gets harder as you get older to take responsibility for events and issues. I have to quell my anger and self-talk to a better perspective on the situation. Do you all agree with that? I think that's most people. Like, the more life throws at you, the more it's difficult to hold your head in a cheerful way, hopeful way. Okay. Michael Capitani, shaming language doesn't work on me. At this point in my life, I've become shameless. Everything that happens to me, I believe, is my own fault. That way I know to not let it happen again. And that was a summation of what I was trying to get at in the video. I think Michael echoed my sentiments well. Oh, being raised primarily by women gave me a victim mentality. Especially single women, I think. Oh, I wanted to say something. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to tie this back into what I was saying in response to one of these other comments. Children don't deserve to be abused, but sometimes they are. But then they become grown up. So you said that being raised primarily by women gave me a victim mentality. Once I got past that, because you became a self-reliant individual and you could work on the past and not have it be a part of you any longer. And that's wonderful. And I bet your life is better now. How is your relationship with your mom? Or you said that being raised by single women. Are you on good terms, or did you have to kick them out of your life? I'm just curious, and you don't have to answer. Thank you for the comment. Rick S. said he fell off the monkey bars. I fell off the monkey bars on the school's concrete playground. It wasn't their fault. Blah, blah, blah. In a good way. When I turned 16, I told my mom I wanted a car. She said, okay, go get a job. So I did. I didn't deserve the car, but I earned it. How many of you, I'll do a poll. How many of you consider themselves to be raised to be responsible? Like, did you have someone buy a car for you, or were you forced to work for it? At what point did you have to start to do your own laundry? Do you still have somebody do your own laundry? When did you learn to cook? Were you cooked for? When did you have to buy your own clothing? Shit like that. So would you say that you were raised to be very self-responsible or not very responsible? I just wanted to include Georgette. The code word is window. Look at your life as not a loss, but a win. Don't. That was good. I like that. And I think I'm going to leave it at that today. Oh, question. I am thinking about, so I started doing my videos and then I started doing commenting on comments. As a YouTuber who's getting more popular, I could talk to more popular channels, and that would help, my subscriber base. But my intention of this was to create like an online meetup, because you guys know that I have a meetup that's pretty successful and people really like it and it's changed lives and people love it, blah, blah, blah. So I thought maybe I can do that online. What do you guys think? And I'm just playing with the idea about, I do a video, I do commenting on comments, and then I choose one person in the comment section to have online, like via Skype. And you can have you don't have to have your face on. We can change your voice if you're concerned about that. But that might be kind of interesting to have people out in the world to talk to, to shore up their ideas. Thoughts? Okay, next week is the wall. 42. The only reason I was mocking the 17-year anniversary is because a lot of people in the MGTOW video are like, oh, past 25, she's spent. So I'm taking that. Whatever. We'll talk about that next week on my birthday. Okay, thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all of you. I really like your comments. They're all pretty awesome. Have a good day. Happy New Year still.